So do you have a conservative chin or maybe liberal eyes? Does that sound far-fetched? Not really. It actually isn't. Scientists now say they can predict political ideology based on facial features and characteristics. Joining us to know is someone who is joining us to discuss is someone who knows a thing or two about faces and anatomy. Double board certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Yael Halaas. Dr. Halaas, great to have you with us here. This is one of those things that seems kind of like just fun, but there's actually science behind it. Explain it to us just a little bit, and then we'll take a look at some pictures.
Yes, it's actually using artificial intelligence, using neural network designs to recognize facial features in photos. And what they did was they looked actually at pictures that the candidates submitted themselves. So these are pictures that the candidates thought represented themselves the best. And they could tell by actually with the female candidates, the happier faces versus actually the contemptuous faces, what the ideology of the candidate was. And
Wow.
they could predict by about 61% accuracy, which is kind of interesting.
What are some of the general features? Like, say, if you have more of a liberal ideology, what are some of the features that they notice, and vice versa for conservatives?
So they were really looking a lot at the eyes and the expression. And they looked at literally hundreds of photos so that the computer could learn and recognize happiness. And the conservative candidates, all men and women, uniformly were expressing happiness. The neutral positions were on candidates that tended to be more liberal. And uniquely with female candidates, and this is what I found so interesting because the female candidates themselves submitted these photos, but the more liberal female candidates submitted photos were actually was thought to be more contemptuous.
Wow.
So
Wow. All right.
really,
Well,
why would
it
they
is
submit
amazing.
that
It's
look?
amazing. Let's kind of look at a few candidate photos, and you can kind of explain it to us. All right. Let's take a look at former President Donald Trump and tell us what we should be looking for here.
So in general, when we're looking at our candidates, and this is consistent with when we're looking at successful candidates and what we are looking for, the quality traits we're looking for in men and in women. When we're looking for from our strong leadership in male characters, the characteristics we're looking for strong eyebrows. We're looking for strong jaw lines. We want to see strong chins. We want to see a square forehead that kind of shows that
Hmm.
they are going to dominate and lead, that they're capable of being assertive. A pronounced eyebrow can show that they have an ability to bring concepts together. And when we're looking at Donald here, I know a lot of us, there's always been concepts on talking about that he has his head of hair, but the fact that we can see that he has that squared head kind of
Mm-hmm.
shows that the assertiveness, which we all recognize in the personality himself.
Now, Dr. Hollis, back to kind of the political ideologies. I know we have a picture here of Donald Trump on one side and President Biden on the other. Maybe just show us a little bit of those ideological facial character or facial expressions or details that we should be looking at. So start with President Biden.
Oh, so it's interesting actually, because something that we see uniquely and really consistently throughout looking at politicians, you can see that high forehead. You can see, I mean, they're both a little bit older, so the jawline is maybe starting to show some age. But one of the things I think very distinctly between these two men is width of the face. And
Hmm.
even when you look even in monkeys, you can see that people prefer width in their leaders. So having a slightly wider face is generally considered higher in one's hierarchy. And looking between these two men, and I'm talking purely about facial features, I am not talking about ideology, I'm not talking about their personal characteristics, but just looking in terms of their facial structures, you can see that Donald has a bit of a wider face,
Wow.
and we have the longer face with Joseph
Hmm.
Biden. And with that wider face is, if you look, even going back throughout the animal kingdom, a wider face is considered more of a leader, a dominant face.
All right,
And that is
Dr.
true about all
Dr. Yael
presidents.
Halaas, I could go on, and I would want to show you all different pictures, but unfortunately we're out of time. But that was just fantastic and absolutely fascinating. We really appreciate your joining us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Very interesting.
Thank you.